do your media work for Vancouver?
Yeah, I do the colour commentating on the radio for the Whitecaps. As you can see, I've got the face and build for radio, so it suits me perfectly, Simon. But I'm the technical director of the Abbotsford Soccer Association, so we've got about 950 players here, boys and girls. So that's my real job, and then I get the chance to do some radio commentary and a wee bit of TV work as well out in Canada. So I'm quite lucky. I'm kept busy, that's for sure.
And that also means that with your spare time, you get to watch your former club, the famous Glasgow Rangers. It's not been great start to the season, Colin. Quickly talk us through how you think it's went for Derek so far.
Yeah, we were all in such a high when Derek got hired, and the expectations were through the roof, weren't they? I mean, the club, to be fair, the owners have spent a bit of money as well on the team, Simon, so we can't really fault them. But we're disappointed with the results. But I have to say, I mean, I watched the Hibs game on Sunday at Ibrox, and nobody could tell me we didn't deserve to win the game, never mind get beat the game, even to a draw at some point. So if it hadn't been for the bad luck, we wouldn't have had any luck at all this season. You had Inchirmiti's injury to that, Roman's injury to that, and who else is injured? The big centre back, his name escapes me. I've written it down here as well in my notes, but
John Shooter.
No, the English lad
Godfrey. Sorry, yes, Ben Godfrey.
Ben Godfrey. So I mean, they're three key players that are out of the side now, and so Derek certainly doesn't have his problems to seek. But there's times we've played some good football, but there's been times for me it's been a wee bit too slow. I'd like to see things quicken up a wee bit in particular. So, but defensively. Overall, the types of goals we're giving away, Simon, are not acceptable, really, are they? Because there's a casualness about how we're getting up to the ball. I'm as a defender, former defender myself. You know, it was drummed into you: close the ball down as early as you can. Don't let the cross get in. Don't get a shot. Take pride in getting blocks. And I think we've got to get back to that mentality, that in around our 18-yard box, stopping crosses and getting in and getting as tight as we possibly can, and get that mentality through the side and just be harder to beat, to be honest with you. That's going to be, I think that's something that we expected from a Derek McInnes side.
Yeah. Do you think that being a defender yourself, the changing of the 3 at the back to the 4 at the back and the personnel, do you think that's affecting the defence, and it should be more a more settled defence on a weekly basis when possible?
Well, it's a good question. You're talking now with the signings. I think we've had 10 signings in this transfer window. That's a lot of players. That's an awful lot of turnover, Simon, and it takes a long time to bed that in. I remember being down at Derby County with Billy Davis as his first team coach. And we'd signed a few new players, and it takes time to get these guys up to speed. And they've come from different clubs, and the expectation as a football supporter, as a Rangers supporter, is these guys are going to hit the ground running. I thought McCann played well on Sunday. I thought he was off to a good start, so that was really positive. But for me, he kept the game very, very simple. He did everything that you would expect a player in those areas of park to do. He tackled well, won his headers, but when he got it, he played it to a midfield player or somebody that could, in a blue jersey, that could advance the team a little bit further forward. That's how simple it needs to be. So there are other players that you bring that come from different areas of the world that with different mentalities that maybe no play the game is simple. They might want to, like Fernandez as an example, at the moment you're shaking your head wondering what he's going to do next with the football. Is he going to slip? Is he going to slip again? Is he going to stay on his feet? These types of things, and these are things the manager can't legislate for, Simon. Somebody slips, it is what it is. But any question, what footwear is he wearing? Has he got 6 studs on and whatever the modern football boots are nowadays? But I think that if we can take these little basic errors out of the side, we have created chances. I mean, even Lon Shanklin had a couple of good chances on Sunday as well. He hit the target and he's doing everything else. On another day, he might score at least a couple of goals there. So it's not as if we're not creating them, but we're not finishing a lot of the chances that we're creating. That seems to be the difference at the moment.
Yeah, I think that the first team to score tonight will win the game or go through. Whoever scores first will go through because of the pressure on it. And it's been so early in the season. Derek's under a lot of pressure. do you think he'll go out for the early goal, or do you think he'll try and protect the game so that we're basically not out of the game early? I think he'll go for an early goal, and to do that, I would be playing somebody like Miovski, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a great, another good question. What a clever laddie you are here tonight in my time. But I wonder, Simon, Miovski, you bring his name up there. Why have the last 3 managers not played him regularly? What is he like in training? What is his attitude like? That's the thing, as a former manager myself, that's what I'm thinking here. If somebody's training, working their backside off and scoring goals in training, great attitude and wants to be there, working hard, why is he not featuring more in the Rangers first team? And certainly for his reputation at Aberdeen, when we signed him, I thought, what a great signing that is. A natural predator in and around the box. And just, you know, I think he could complement Lawrence Shanklin as an example. I think that the two of them would work well together. So something's happened along the lines here. This is just Colin Miller's opinion here. Something's happening here at training where managers base a lot of their team formations and so on. So who's looking sharp in training, who's looking tired and jaded. I just believe that maybe everything's not all right in the garden here for him not to feature at all in some of these.
I think he is wanting away, but the worry I've got is we're short on players.
Yeah.
We're short on players, and we need somebody to put the ball in the net. That's a big thing for me, because I think that I saw the young lad, Yakota. I don't know if you saw him. Japanese lad. Japanese, I'm sure he is.
Yeah.
Very good winger, really direct, but young and maybe not experienced enough.
Yeah.
Just now, but he'll get that. That will certainly come him, and he's going to get whoever's going to be the Rangers strike force this season. It's going to be Shanklin, Danson, maybe Ryan Naderi, or someone coming in. They're going to get lots of ammunition. They're going to get lots of opportunities. And on the other side, you've got Finlay Curtis. So there's plenty of chances, but you need somebody that you really need a kind of a poacher, I think, in there. And if I was Rangers, I'd be going out to sign one.
Yeah, no, I agree. And even to go back to your previous question, Simon, I do think I fancy Rangers. I really do. I think it's time we got a result. I think we'll go for a jugular. The jugular. I think the big support at Ibrox on Thursday night will be bouncing. I think we need the Bears to get behind the team as much as we possibly can here, because having played at Ibrox as well, if the crowd's turning on you, then it lumps an awful lot of pressure. And there's some very inexperienced Rangers players here in this side as well. They may be experienced somewhere else, but none of them will have experienced the roar at Ibrox and what it's like to play there. So I just hope that. Well, I'm sure we'll get off to a real positive start, and this bad luck that we're going through, the only way to get out of that bad luck is to do the simple thing well and to work your backside off. And if you do that, you give yourself a real chance. So I do fancy Rangers to go through tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, you guys. Yes, but I do fancy us to go through. I wasn't overly impressed with the Polish side last Thursday. I thought that any time they looked dangerous, I thought it was self-inflicted a number of times, Simon.
I agree with that.
I just think if we can just, again, keep the head, as we say, keep the discipline. We know what's at stake. We know the result that we need to get. We need to score goals, and a couple of goals anyway, and keep a clean sheet. If you do that, you give yourself a wee chance.
I mean, I'm getting more confident. The Rangers team that played in the second half against Jagiellonia was completely different to the Rangers team in the first half. And the second half team are more than capable of winning it. The question I'm going to ask you, midfield, what do you think? Raskin and Cammy Devlin, can they play together? Do you think they can? Or there's been an argument they can't play together. I think it's too soon, but Raskin might be away in a few weeks as well. We don't know. But for tonight, do we play the two of them together or what?
Raskin's the best midfield player we've got. So while he's a Rangers player,
use him.
I agree. Use him, play him for sure. You put him in the shop window, and he's not going to let the team down. He's going to lead by example, and he's a wee sort of terrier in the middle of the park, and he's the best. He's our most sellable asset now at this point in time. Touch wood, if that's what happened. But I was really impressed with Dragiellonia I know, and on Sunday, that might sound a bit daft, the fact that the lad played at right back, but he didn't look overly comfortable at right back. But some of the passing, some of the movement that he was doing as a fullback, coming into a more central area at times, whether Derek McInnes wanted him to come in a bit more central, I don't know, but it just opened up the space for a wee bit for Yokota out in the wide area. But I think this kid looks a good player, Simon. I think he looks intelligent. He looks like he's not afraid to have a shot on target as well. I think we've been guilty at times, Rangers, of trying to walk the ball into the back of the net. A wee shot on target is not a bad thing. So I would actually throw the kid in here. I would give Dragiellonia a chance in the middle of the park with Raskin.
Aye, no, that's a good shout. I do think that the problem you've got with Cammy Devlin and Raskin is they're both ball winners. Yeah. We need creativity. Yeah. We don't really have that at the club now, so we've got to use what we've got. Dragiellonia, he's not really had a chance in his natural position just now, so I would like to see that. So that's a good shout. Yeah. So what's your thoughts on what do you think the score will be tonight?
I fancy Rangers 3-1 or 3-0. I'm not saying it'll be a cakewalk by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm going back to those fantastic nights in European football that we've had in recent times, and I totally expect us to rise to the occasion for sure. This next few days, a big few days for the club. There's no doubt about it. The game on Sunday as well coming up, but I really strongly fancy Rangers to get the right result here and get through to the next round. This cup here, it won't be easy, as I said before, but I just think with what's at stake. And sometimes when you get some setbacks or you get some serious injuries like the way the lads have had, it kind of galvanizes the rest of the lads that are there. Yeah, and we're going to have to maybe put a square peg in a round hole, Sterling, at maybe at left back. A lot of people are saying that might be the case, but whoever plays, just as I said before, keep it simple and play quickly. That would be my advice tomorrow night or tonight to the Rangers boys.
Let me use a term that I know you'll be very familiar with. The late great Jock Wallace loved it. Character.
Aye, definitely. I mean, the gaffer demanded that every game, every training session, character, and that's exactly what we will need tomorrow. Sorry, I keep saying tomorrow night, but
for you, yeah.
we need to show that. The crowd needs to be patient, needs to get behind the lads. Nobody's trying to get beat here, Simon. Nobody's trying to draw. Nobody's trying to do this. The Rangers lads are trying to do the right thing, and there's a settling in period for these new players, no doubt about it. And they can't all become bad players overnight. That's for sure. So we have to be. I know that our support won't allow that to happen. We have to be a wee bit more patient. Give the guys a chance to get in and get the feet under them, and hopefully that starts tomorrow night or tonight.
Gone are the days of sending them to Ghislaine Sands.
I'm not going to sleep well now after that. That's for sure.
There's a comment there about, is it Drojic, they can pronounce it. So we've got we've got a winger, I believe, who's in Glasgow. The rumours, as you know, mate, the rumours, you work in the media, you'll know what that's like. People always have exclusives. The rumour is that he's in Glasgow, he passed his medical. Rangers will sign him today and he'll be on the park at half time. That's a good move if they do that, because the fans are needing something to cheer them up. And I think they need a quality, for the season ahead, we need a top quality winger.
Yeah, I totally agree. Maybe even two, Simon. Maybe two wingers. I thought Gassama did well when he came on as a sub. I wouldn't play him. I'm not a fan of Gassama, but the times that he's come off the bench, he's sort of looked like a wee bit of a game changer for us. But Druich, if that's how you pronounce the lad's name, there's been a lot made about the guy, a lot of money the club spent on him as well. I hear mixed messages. Everybody's an expert nowadays, aren't they? Everybody's an expert. We just want the lad to play well for Rangers. What he's done in the Dutch league is irrelevant. It's what he comes and does for us. So again, there will be that settling in period. The good thing is that he gets a chance to experience the atmosphere at Ibrox, tonight, and that'll prepare him for something he's never seen in Holland. That's for sure, and that will get him ready for the game on the weekend. And that's how I'm looking at it. But you're right. Any new signing, any time the club's made a new signing and certainly spent this amount of money on a player, there will be a level of expectation that he is going to be a player. We all fantasize about the Brian Laudrups of the world and the Davy Coopers, God rest them. But you know, we football's changed a wee bit. You know, these types of players are very few and far between, and I think the quicker he settles in, the better. And the fact that he's going to get a couple of days under his belt with the lads, get to know Derek a wee bit and the staff, how things are done at the club, just that wee bit of settling in. That's 2 or 3 days.
Familiarise yourself.
Yeah.
You made a really good point there, Colin. I'm going to come back on it. You said football's changed, and obviously it has changed. However, when you look at Rangers' biggest problem for the managers over the last 5-6 years is we can't break down a low block. Having a traditional style, now you mentioned Davy Cooper, as you probably know, is my favourite ever Rangers player.
Yes.
If Rangers were to go back to that style of traditional wingers, is that the answer to breaking down these defences? Because none of the managers after Gerrard seem to be able to break down the every man behind the ball type scenario. It's not going to change at Ibrox. That's what teams are doing. They're going to be hard to beat, and we need to find a way to get in the back of them. Is that maybe what we need, more back to the basics in the wing play?
Yeah, I believe so, and I also believe we, as a team at this moment in time, have to commit more players forward. There's times when
they're very slow going forward.
Yeah, very slow going forward. We don't get bodies into the blocks. Into the box. There's not enough Rangers players inside that 18-yard box. If you have Yokota on the one side and Drew as an example on the other side, and they're hugging the touchline, I know as a fullback myself, that is terrifying. There was nothing worse than seeing Brian Laudrup over my left shoulder, standing on the touchline at the right-hand side of the Rangers attack. I was terrified. I'm thinking, goodness me, he's going to destroy me here. But at times, we football now is played so narrow that the days of a winger seem to be in the bygone days. You know what I mean? So I think we have to give the lad the chance early doors. I'm a big believer on width on the opposite side of the football, so that you always have an out ball, because it's difficult to defend. The longer we take to get the ball out to Yokota, let's use him as an example, the longer we take to give him the ball, the more chance the back four, the defensive organisation playing against him gets a chance to get set up. And all of a sudden, he may be playing against 3 or 4 players, and he has to play the ball back the way the crowd get on top of him. Well, he can't do anything because he's getting the ball that late. So I think starting wider, getting that width on the opposite side of the football, I think is really, really important. If Rangers can get players like young Finlay Curtis is one who wants to run at people, who wants to get crosses in the box, but give him the ball earlier and then let him do things. I think it's really important.
I know we're under pressure at the weekend, but I don't like to see young boys like Finlay Curtis being put into the right back position.
Yeah,
he's a natural winger. What I would say with the boy Joyce coming in as well, what Rangers lack badly just now is, see when we've got the kind of 1-on-1 situations or a good attack, see the final ball needs to be much better. We need to be able to beat the first man when we're crossing the ball, because if the attack get a good delivery, it's so much easier. And I just feel as if the players get frustrated because they don't have enough opportunities, and then, as you said, they don't want to shoot. It's a big pressure keg just now. 2 or 3 wins could really change it all, but they need to get this momentum quickly.
Yeah, we need to get this weight off our back right away, and by winning tonight for sure. But I think it goes back a wee bit as well, Simon, what I was speaking about committing players forward to get players into the box.
Be brave.
If the wingers get into the byline and getting crosses into the box, if there's only Lawrence Shanklin as an example who's inside the 18-yard box, nobody else, then chances are he's up against 4 or 5 defenders. There needs to be more blue jerseys in the box so that we have the winger, he can just throw a ball into a certain area, knowing that somebody's going to be in that particular area, and then it's up to the players. You might not get it with the initial challenge, but the modern football is called the second phase. Be the first to get that knockdown. There was a couple of times on Sunday there was a challenge in the box, and it's a Hibs player that's the first to that. We need to be the ones that are reacting quicker inside that 18-yard box.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to that comment you made about the second phase, because you said, I know you watched the game on Sunday, you watch all the games. What's your take on, you've seen the World Cup, you're watching Canadian football on a regular basis, and you watch Scottish football with the VAR scenario in Scotland. We've got VAR, but we don't have the correct technology for it. And it also seems to be that Rangers are treated in a different manner from everyone else, certainly in my opinion, in that. The penalty on Sunday, when you were talking about first phase of play, second phase, 2.5 minutes after an incident, you go back and award a penalty for something that nobody's claimed for. What was your thoughts on it?
If I say what I'm really thinking, I probably will never be on the airwaves ever again, Simon. So that'll give you a wee idea of it. I thought it was interesting. The lad, I forget his name escapes me. The Hibs player, he actually thought it was a free kick. It was a penalty for Rangers. He couldn't think of what had happened, and it just before I came on the show, I watched the Rangers highlights again for Sunday, and I still. Yeah, the young lad is no facing the football, so that will be everybody's excuse there. He's no facing the football, and he should be facing the football. But then the Hibs player has got him by the throat, and the two of them are at it. So I think if we're starting to make that decision, a penalty kick inside the box, as play has gone on, that nobody's even no Hibs player put their hands up, no Rangers player complained, and like the game just went on, and the ball got cleared. If that's what we're getting on about here, I think they can put the VAR in the cupboard because it's wasting the game. There's no question. There's no doubt in my mind that is not a penalty kick there. And if it is a penalty kick, there had better be some serious in Scottish football this season in the Premier League. So that's how I feel about it.
The other thing about that, mate, I know it's a bit negative chat, but how long do you continue a game before you can't go back? I mean, 2.5 minutes it's a hell of a long time in a game of football.
Yeah, it's almost like they're looking for something that, let's check every single time a ball,
and then check it again
at Rangers 18-yard box to see if we can get some. It sounds terrible to say that with the blue tinted glasses on here, but it's almost getting to that stage where you go, what in the world is going on here? What is going on here? Because it was a poor decision. I thought it was a wrong decision. I totally agree. Even the Derek McInnes, who's going to say that anyway, but you could see in his face how angry he was, how disappointed he was in the result. I know his hands are tied because he's still up in front of the educated ones at some point here. But I think it was a really, really poor decision. Nobody in the stadium would have called that a penalty kick.
I thought it was ridiculous. But it's also the fact that you're looking at England and how they do it right, the VAR, and it really puts your game to shame when every time there's a VAR decision, nobody seems to know why there's a VAR decision, why they take so long. It's just so unprofessional. And like yourself, you're probably trying to sell the Scottish game over in Canada.
Yeah,
it must be a hard sell. Do you know what I mean?
Well, one of the things you touched on it there, Simon, that you mentioned the World Cup there. I was so impressed by the speed of the VAR decisions. Like within seconds, it was, that's a penalty or not, play on, no problem at all. Like within seconds, that decision was made. It was as if FIFA had said, listen, there is going to be no Scottish Premier League VAR stuff here. There's going to be no soap opera here. It's going to be a decision made rightly or wrongly. Let's get it done. And I think, there's been a few decisions, hasn't there, over the years that's taken an eternity to make a decision. If our VAR and our staff that are operating the VAR are doing the job properly, along with the referees, that it should never ever take that amount of time to make that decision for sure.
Well, the whole point of VAR is if it's an obvious decision.
Yeah, clear and obvious.
Clear and obvious. So it's clear and obvious. So if it's clear and obvious and it takes you maybe 2 or 3 minutes to bring the game back, then it's not clear and obvious. Yeah, for sure. And from your team's point of view, the teams in the middle, they're in the middle of an important fixture, and all of a sudden there's an incident like that has totally transferred the game. I think Rangers had 72 or 73% possession on Sunday, so it shows you how far ahead we were at Hibs and how much possession we did have. And it was going to be something like that changed the game. And I think I just think it was such a poor decision, absolutely. And as I said, if that's the standard of penalties that are going to be given away in the Scottish Premier League this season, well, it's going to be a long season, that's for sure. Yeah, and just to finish up, I know you live in Canada now. I've asked you this before, but I'll go back. I've got so I spoke to you before we went on air. I've got some friends over for Canada for the game tonight. Going to go for a meal in Mr. Sing's. I've got the Bally Bear over and my friends over for Thailand. What's your experiences over in Canada with the Rangers supporters clubs, and any you want to give a shout out to?
I'm getting old here because the name Davy, I forget what Davy's last name is. He runs the Vancouver chapter of the Rangers Supporters Club, and I've been in there a few times. I was in there with my dad and my brother many years ago. We used to go to the Rangers Celtic games regular. They get the games live, obviously. But I remember I was the manager of FC Edmonton, and we were playing in Atlanta, and Rangers were over in Victoria. And we played, Rangers played a team called the Victoria Highlanders on Vancouver Island. And I flew from Atlanta all the way into Vancouver Island, went across the ferry over to the island, full of Rangers supporters. The stadium was full of Rangers supporters. It was a great night. And I got to meet Coisty again, and I still have the photo here. And Kenny Miller, actually, I bumped into Kenny as well. So it was a great trip. Great to see the Bears live.
You're still on I think you told me you're still on the Rangers, the ex-players group chat. How's that?
Yes. Yeah, it's fabulous. There's Rangers in the 80s. It's called the group chat, and there was a book. Alistair Aird wrote the book.
Oh yeah, I know Alistair. Yes,
Alistair, fantastic. He leads it. He keeps us. I don't know if he ever sleeps at night, but he's such a statistician. He knows everything there is to know about Rangers, and so passionate about the club. So Alistair sort of keeps us. He keeps us under wraps. Derek Ferguson, Durant, McCoy, Stalin, Big Slim, Big Dave McPherson, and the guys, Sandy Clark, and everybody. There's a lot of ex-Rangers players that are involved in it. So the patter's very good.
Great memories. So there's a few comments coming in. I'm going to go back to this one quickly before we finish. From our friends at Hands Across the Water. It's a great Rangers podcast from Northern Ireland, and if you get a chance, guys, tune in and watch them. Just straight to the point here. Colin, hi lads, great show as always. These players owe us all a big performance tonight. It's time for us to step up. We've just spoken about Rangers fans from all over the world that watch us on a regular basis. That's all they want, as a team of passion and giving it their very best. And I think that the biggest criticism a lot of Rangers fans have got, myself included, sometimes I wonder if the modern day player has the same passion as the older days.
Well, it's a great point, and I, as someone who only played 7 games for Rangers, was at the club for 18 months.
7 more than me.
7 more, guys, and nobody can take it away from me as well, Simon. I can assure you. But the level of pride that I had, even playing in the Rangers reserve team, and we won the Scottish Premier League reserve that year in the Glasgow Cup final as well when I was playing. The pride that I had wearing the jersey, I was invincible. I tell you, I just thought that I could take on the world with that jersey. And every Rangers player at that time, we were all tarred with the same brush. We were all Rangers supporters and played for the jersey. And we knew what it was like. We knew what the club meant to us. And I think I get it. The game has changed. The world has changed there for sure. But when the Rangers players come out tonight, that would be my expectation. That would be the minimum that I would expect, is that these guys would fight and die for the jersey. And Derek McInnes, I have no doubt in my mind, will instill that characteristic. I think for a number of years now, there hasn't been enough players who understood what it meant to wear that blue jersey. And I have no doubt, as I said, Derek McInnes will get he will get this right, and that has to start tonight. The Bears will get behind the team, as I said at the start of the show, and I'm sure they will respond to this.
And that's a few Rangers supporters actually just leaving to go to the game just now. It's incredible support, as you know, mate.
It's fabulous, absolutely fabulous.
Colin, it's always a pleasure to have you on, mate. An ex-Rangers player. I know you mentioned the fact that you only played 7 games, but you played for the greatest club in the world. You're proud of it, and you never hide your colours. Thanks very much, mate, and I hope you can come back on again in the future.
Yeah, my pleasure. Anytime. It's been great. It's always a pleasure being on, Simon.
All the best, pal. And for you, good night, and for everyone else, good morning. And in the left-hand corner, you'll see a wee sign that says like and subscribe. Please do so. Thank you, guys, and always remember, we are the people.